Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Chit, Chat, and Chill. Our organization is very much against the cancel culture that exists today. So when we have dialogue, we're open to all points of view without judgment. Welcome to the conversation.
Hello, hello, hello. Before we get started this evening, we've been made aware of um, a live shooting that's happening right now in Boulder. And we had also wanted to just, have a moment of silence for the craziness that's gone on this week and the shootings that happened in Atlanta as well. So we just wanted to start this chit chat with a moment of silence for the tragedies and the shootings that are going on right now. And then we'll get into our live. Our prayers go out to those who are dealing with that live shooting in Boulder right now. And yeah, it's crazy. Crazy week, man. Oh,
It sucks because one of those shootings always triggers another. I just hope, there's no more to come that, everybody needs to
yeah.
go see
Agreed.
your therapist, people. Go see your therapist.
Yeah, it's been a rough year. All right. So tonight we wanted to start out talking about the WAP backlash. I think a lot of us, most of us who are on right now, kind of were taking Cardi B's side I guess Cardi and Meg performed WAP live on the Grammys last week. And there was some backlash afterward about how sexual the performance was. And, there's FCC complaints about it afterward. And we kind of felt, a certain type of way. So we want to talk about how they feel about it. And then there was also some tweets that happened with Candace Owens as well, and some like a YouTube video where somebody was trying to comment on it. So we just wanted to talk about that while it's fresh. Who wants to kick it off?
I mean, I just don't even know where to begin. Aaron, your fingers look like a booty for a second. And I was like, Aaron trying to show some WAP.
I was going to say, this is the solidarity.
That's commitment.
Oh my gosh.
But honestly, ever since I heard about the controversy, I just been playing the songs. All Cardi, all Meg, all Beyonce, all Lizzo, whoever else has some good shake your booty, women power songs. Because at the end of the day, those songs are like, I don't know. To me, they're like a direct contradiction or like comeback to all the songs, the rap songs that men put out about shaking your booty, da da da. Those songs are like doing it on your own terms, so to speak. Everybody has times where they just want to dance and, feel like, hey, look at me or look over here. Sometimes, don't touch me, but exactly. And like I said, it's like a direct opposite of all the male songs that are just, saying whatever they want about women. Let us say what we want and when we want, and let's talk about you. So I don't know. I think they had plenty of time to know that performance was coming up. The Grammys always tells you what performances are coming up, so you can turn the TV if you don't want to see it.
Yep.
I had to sit through that whole Taylor Swift in the grass.
You got muted. We lost your sound, LaShawn. Well, does somebody else want
Sorry,
to
didn't you? Can you
Yes, she's
yes, we can hear you now.
waving.
The folklore.
Her sitting in the grass, and I was like, these were 3 different songs, and they all sound exactly the same. Like, I just don't understand that Taylor Swift album. And don't get me wrong, I don't have nothing against Taylor Swift, but those songs, no, that album was not for me. It was very boring.
So all that to say,
if I have to sit through that nonsense, y'all can turn the channel for 2 minutes while Cardi and them perform. 4 minutes, whatever it was.
I
didn't even think it was all that horrible. I think the probably the part most people are complaining about is when they were like imitating scissoring.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I don't even think, compared to what that video was, that performance wasn't even horrible at all. It might have been kind of pushing. I'm even saying PG-13. Like I couldn't even give it a R because it just, you see people when they do acrobat tricks kind of getting that close to each other. Really, I think it's unfortunate that you have people who want the world to parent for them. Like,
Right.
you want your teachers to parent your kids. You want everybody celebrities to parent your kids. When are people going to start parenting their own children? Why are you not aware of what they're watching? Why are they somewhere where they can watch whatever they want to watch that you have to be worried about? And it's like, are they worried about their children or their husband? That's the real question.
That's the question.
That's a good question. Because that leads into the next topic. I'm not going to jump ahead. But Shayla, did you want to talk a little bit about your...
Okay, I'm about to jump a little bit all over the place, but try to stay with me. I would like to point out that you see a lot of breasts on daytime television. Like, I see a lot of female nudity, like I see the chest on the television screen. So it's like they had on essentially what would be equivalent to a bikini, and they're dancing on stage, but they're still fully clothed. Like, it's nothing exposed to where, and like you all said, you have more than enough time to turn. You know the song is everywhere. No way that you weren't aware to turn it off if there was an issue. And for all the feminists, like, who are saying, oh, they should, it's another way, and women, I counter that to say, what's wrong with owning your sexuality? What's wrong with expressing it and taking pride in it? I feel like so many people try to tell little girls that they can't be sexual beings. And that's not supporting women, because it's natural. So why can't they express themselves? Like, I remember back with Love and Hip Hop, it was a reunion show, and Peter Guns and Cardi B got into this argument where he was telling her, basically her explaining that if she's with a male, or if she's with a guy, why can't she get something out of it? Why does she have to give and get nothing back? And he equated that to being a hoe. And it's like, why does that have to be a hoe? If I'm going into it without just giving everything for nothing, if that's the way I want to deal with it, why is that an issue?
I call that bartering.
Huh?
It's bartering.
Whatever. Look, let me explain something to you. Everybody can sit in the adults here. What's the problem?
Right.
If that's what I want to do, if that's what I want to do, who am I hurting?
Right. Exactly. And to jump into like the Candace Owens response, and I think she was on, I don't even think she was on Fox News. Was she on Fox News, Tucker Carlson? Where someone had asked her what she thought about the performance, and she said that she thought it was filth, blah, 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 whatever she always says about that type of stuff. She's consistent. The reason it's annoying to me, I was saying this before we went live, was I just hate how she speaks. Like, I don't necessarily think that all of what she was saying was wrong, because she was basically saying, you make women look bad, blah, blah, blah. And I know that's how conservatives feel about women expressing their sexuality in general. So whatever. I just hate how her tone is always like this condescending tone, like, I'm better than you because I would never do that. But why? Why say that? Why bash? Why judge? And this is a world where, why can't we have the space for both conservative and people who are open and comfortable with their bodies and showing their bodies and expressing themselves by singing songs like this that are explicit? Who cares? This is America. You should be able to express yourself freely. Like we had talked about earlier, Trevor Noah announced it. He said it's gonna be, this is WAP. It's a rated R. You might want to turn the channel if your kids on TV. So they tried to prepare them and say, yo, if your kids are in front of TV, walk away. But to you guys' point, is it about the kids or their husbands? Because why do you care? Why do you care? If she's shaking her ass on TV, who cares? And I loved Cardi's response, like, no press is bad press. And she knew that her ratings or her song streams were gonna go up. She was like, keep talking, keep talking, keep talking.
Yeah.
I love it. So I loved that.
You guys ever seen that episode of the Boondocks where it was like Ann Coulter and I think Al Sharpton going at it? So it was an episode of Boondocks where Al Sharpton and Ann Coulter were going at it and, you know, just beefing. And then when they got off the air, I think it was on a talk show to be exact. When they got off the air, they started kissing and making out.
Yes.
You saw that? And that's what I think about these extreme personalities like Candace Owens. Like, you got to make your money how you got to make your money. Like, these people make these characters because if she just decided to be not normal, I don't want to use the word normal, but if she wasn't so extreme, I guess, with her views, we wouldn't pay her no attention.
Right. That's true.
But, you know, when she goes at these celebrities and she, you know, tries to jab and stick, they always come back to her, which is why she getting her own show.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a shock job.
Yeah, exactly. Like Howard Stern used to be before he mellowed out once he sobered up a little bit. So I'm like, that's what I equate her personality to. She wants the attention that she's getting. And I feel like she's a product of these Love and Hip Hop and these basketball wives and these women who exaggerate their personality and they drink and fight and, you know, they put on this persona because it's dollars, which they just not honest about it. How Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion, like, they honest about their dollars. I love myself, my body, and I'm about to get these dudes a show and make these dollars. That's I think these people's issue. Basically, you can't be honest with yourself or the people around you because you probably can't listen to WAP in front of your group of friends.
But
like you want to.
Listening to WAP on a boat?
What?
Huh?
Wasn't Candace Owens' husband listening to WAP on the boat?
Oh, I don't know, but that's funny.
A video where they said he was listening to the song on a boat.
It's not a whole lot of people who don't know that damn song. It's grandmas out here singing this song. You know what I'm saying? So,
but I agree with you, Aaron. I do feel like she's just being an antagonist and monetizing off of it. Tiffany did it from I Love New York. Omarosa did it for a lot of different shows. Tommy Lawrence like that, or is that her name?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she does it. I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing. So I get it.
And what Cardi and them are doing is also a thing, which is doing whatever the hell they want and monetizing on it. So
yeah.
I'm never gonna stop anybody from getting paid for whatever, and especially females, women. Do you obviously OnlyFans? We've had our conversations, and there's some things we're okay with, and others that we're not. But
I'm a firm believer too. If you don't like it, don't look at it.
Don't pay
for it.
Don't watch.
Pay for the OnlyFans. Don't.
And if you know your husband's looking at it, don't look at it.
If they don't get.
Ann says she jealous because she ain't got no WAP.
How did he know he was going to defend his boo? I should have with that.
There's also that YouTube video of the mom watching the video, and it's of the WAP performance, and it brings her to tears because she's just so upset. Oh dear, they put this on television. Oh my god. So if you guys want to say anything about that, I don't even know where to
I think we said it all with our
comment I made when we were off air. You know, if this brings you to tears where you're crying that way, what happens when real life happens? Like, if that's what it took to get you to that state, how do you handle a problem? Like an actual
are
real
you coming
life?
to tears every time you watch the news? Because there's real problems in the world. And Cardi B should be the least of them.
Cause like I'm like seriously, just think about it. Like in life, it's certain things that hit you. You gotta really pick and choose how you exert your energy and where you choose to give your energy. So if it just took you, she didn't even see the whole video. She cut it off right at the intro. She didn't even see the whole thing, and that took her over the edge.
I'm so sick of it.
But I like how she's like, I'm not gonna give this any publicity. I'm not gonna play, but you played it.
But you did.
So people who hadn't seen it are now going to find the link for it
Exactly.
to
And
finish
all the
watching
girls that you're talking to saying, girls, listen to me. Look at me. They all clicked on that next video.
And you know, and like Cardi said, no publicity is bad publicity. Go ahead, keep talking about me. Keep talking about me.
Exactly.
And then where is the responsibility for you being a parent, having a relationship with your child and reeling that in? Why is it so everybody else you pointing the finger where you don't have a handle on you? I mean, I'm not saying you got to control your child, but y'all don't have these conversations. You don't have these talks with your child.
And she was even saying there's so many other like good artists and all this other stuff. Yeah, that's true. But to our point, like you knew that she was performing and you could have not watched the performance. You could have only watched the performances that you considered good and wholesome and whatever, because there was a lot of normal performances that weren't X-rated. She made it seem like there were none.
But name one then. Name who you would advertise or who you name one.
Taylor Swift.
Like a normal. Yeah,
we was laying in the grass.
talking about Harry
So
Styles and Billy
BTS,
perform,
Billie
Black
Eilish.
was perform.
Listen. Taylor Swift be getting backlash too.
Everybody, that's the thing.
Taylor Swift have a boyfriend every other day.
That's a whole nother discussion about victimology in the Caucasian world and how they get away with it.
But that's off topic. I agree. That's like a different conversation. But what we were talking about last about the Cardi B and everything kind of leads us into our next topic, which was we started with our Black women over sexualized. I don't know, Erin, if you meant when you said that like in music, or did you mean just in general? But then we had also said, is it more, does it go beyond Black women? Does it go to Hispanic women too? If we think back to the J-Lo and Shakira performance at the Super Bowl and how that got like 1,200 FCC complaints and WAP only got like a few hundred. Is it just minority women who are over-sexualized? I don't know. What did you mean by that, though? I don't want to.
Well, I actually heard that on the radio because in a conversation about WAP and all this other stuff, and the person said that Black women are over-sexualized, which I agree. I think Shakira and J-Lo are not. I don't know if we have too many women in general are sexualized. Black women, though, if you think about it, going back to slavery, when they used to make they had them naked and turning around and showing them like livestock.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see some of the art from back then where the features were exaggerated, like the butt and the breast. And so I think this is something that has been since we've been here. But I don't think we're all victims to it. I think that we play into it. Just like, we talked our mini conversation. Beyonce that's part of her show is how, sexy she is, how beautiful she is. Same thing with Nicki Minaj. Like a lot of these nowadays Black female artists, unfortunately they got to add that little bit to it, to push them over.
I'm trying to think of a Black female artist who wasn't sexual and was successful, or didn't talk about sexual things.
What do you mean by
I was about to say, what do you mean sexual?
sexual?
Like,
Right.
like what Aaron, just speaking of what Aaron was just saying, like,
Because there's like Alicia Keys. There's
But
people.
Alicia Keys, but
Jordan
you have
Wood,
to look
wasn't
into
it
the
Jordan
numbers.
Woods?
But
No,
what's
Jordan
that
Sparks, you mean?
song?
Jordan
There
Sparks.
you go.
Yeah.
Sparks, sorry.
I think what I was hearing Aaron say was like, but do we have to be sexual to, or I'm sorry, I don't want to put words in
No,
your mouth.
you're on task with that because Alicia Keys is successful, but she's not Beyonce sexual. And Veronica's
Missy
comment,
Elliott.
Missy Elliott has 1 minute
Missy,
dance.
I was gonna say
And
her
One-
songs are sexual.
Yeah.
Missy's songs
And
are
she
sexual.
danced.
Her songs
Missy
are sexual.
sexual
Erica
song.
Badu, Jill Scott,
Sexual song. Yeah.
Poetry. Their
But everyone
songs
has
were
a sexual song. Taylor Swift has sexual songs.
No.
That's true.
But my
Um,
thing is, that's how we that's our level. That's what helps me. To me, these Black female artists get that extra because like Alicia Keys is not Jill Scott famous or on Jill Scott's level or Erykah Badu. Like I don't think when it's like
You saying
when you
she's
have-
less famous? Because
Oh,
Alicia Keys, I would say, is more famous than both of them.
you think so? No.
Yes.
Mainstream,
globally, yes.
Her music,
Mainstream.
well, her music was hot at one point.
If-
I mean, just like Jill Scott's was.
We're gonna
Yep,
talk
that's
about
true.
across the culture, like across cultures, not just Black
Yes.
people.
Yes.
Alicia Keys is more famous.
Really? I don't.
guarantee it.
Yeah, I think Jill Scott was more popular with Black women than probably anybody.
If you ask a random Caucasian person who Jill Scott is, I don't think that they would know. But everyone knows an Alicia Keys song.
Yeah.
If nothing else, they know that New York song. I can't think of it right now.
The one with Jay-Z.
No, I can't think of the name of it.
New York State of Mind or something like
Yeah,
that.
New York State
But
of
they
Mind.
had Jay-Z on it, so that she didn't do that by herself.
But
More
they
people know I'm falling in and out of love with you.
They know
more
Falling
Alicia
like
Keys
nobody.
songs
That was on every like
than
talent
Jill
show,
Scott and
televised talent
Erykah Badu.
show.
Yeah, and I feel like
Now, Jill Scott
agree.
and Erykah Badu have more hardcore fans,
yeah.
but more popular would be Alicia Keys.
I feel like I think a lot of women try to be sexual because they know it sells. They know sex sells, and so they try to dance and do little things to bring attention to themselves. But I feel like thicker women get more attention. Like even if you don't think about race and you think about Iggy Azalea and what she was trying to do, but again, they're trying to, then there's some
Cultural
there's-
appropriation.
Exactly. Some
What do
cultural
you think about
appropriation
Lauryn
going
Hill
on.
though? Lauryn
And
Hill.
so
I'm sorry,
And so-
y'all. I'm having all kinds of issues. I gotta go get my phone charged.
Okay.
Keep talking.
I guess all I'm trying to say is women try to be sexual, and I think when thicker women are sexual, it's just like people take more offense to it because maybe they see it as sexier. And to your point earlier, Aaron, is this something where they have their own insecurities and they're like, oh, that's not cute to be so big and so thick and so whatever. But the cultural appropriation tells us otherwise, that they do want big lips, big boobs, big booties. And yet when it's natural, like I think of Meg Thee Stallion, who is like naturally just thick. And now it's like, I don't know if it's an outrage against who she is and how she is, but I feel like you have a point that thicker women seem to be.
Because I don't, and we were young, so this was, decades ago. Oh Jesus! But I don't remember. Let's see how many complaints when Madonna and Britney Spears kissed at the MTV Awards.
Yeah, that one that got a lot of complaints. That is absolutely true. And Madonna, got a lot of complaints. So that's
her personality. Like,
but not like
who,
that J-Lo Shakira, I think 1,800, I think it was like 16 to 1,800 FCC complaints. 16 times.
They didn't even sing any particularly
They
provocative
didn't.
songs.
I watched the entire performance and thought it was wonderful until I saw the backlash. And again, people were using words like spicy, mommy, too hot. Too hot for who? For what? What are you talking about?
But I think it's relatability too, because you got to keep in mind, like, women with shapes. Like, you can have two women wearing the same
Sorry,
clothes
I'm laughing at the comments.
with different shapes. Two women wearing the same outfit with different shapes. It looks visibly different, and if both of them popped, it would be a difference. So I think that some women, I mean, if something is different than yourself, you tend to hone in on that. So maybe it's that piece that they don't have. It might be a subconscious. They might not be intentionally doing it, but it's still a form of hate. And like it's the same outfit, but because this person has a shape and they pop, oh, that makes it inappropriate or explicit.
Yeah, because when they move, something jiggles. All of a sudden, it's
Yes,
a problem.
but you got to keep in mind, like, think about Miley when she went on her whole little campaign when she was trying to wear the Daisy Dukes and Pop. Nobody paid her no mind. Like they probably was like, she doing too much, but it wasn't like, oh, she's oversexed. She was trying her best to twerk on Robin Thicke, and everybody was just like, yeah.
That's cute.
Think about it.
That's true. That's it, but that's the thing.
But then
these
it's
little girls,
they're growing up and they're trying to get away from their Disney image
But think
and
about
stuff like that.
Aguilera when she did Dirty. She tried so hard. Like, yeah. That poor girl couldn't be sexualized if she tried so hard.
Yeah, no, it's true, but I think I agree with all of your points. I think it's like a subconscious thing. I think, and it also flows down to our children because these teenagers be walking around in little booty shorts, and for some, there's no real difference between the booty shorts and the regular shorts, and for others, it's like, oh, that. And then we have to talk to some of our kids about, no, you have a booty. You can't do what some others do. And not all minorities are like thick like that. So I don't want to say this is like necessarily a race thing, but again, it's like the thickness makes a difference, it seems, in how people feel.
There's a comment. I remember hearing stories that in private schools where those with larger assets could get away with a short skirt. Those without larger assets could get away with a short skirt, but those who are thicker would get in trouble. Yeah, I mean,
It's a bias.
I've heard somebody say, "Oh my gosh, this person is just inappropriately dressed," and she was in a full turtleneck, but because she had big boobs,
I was just about to say tank tops. Think about tank tops with a person who has breasts versus a person who's flat chested. People would be like, oh, that is so inappropriate. Her cleavage is showing. I mean, she got the same thing on as this other girl. What's the problem?
You could have the exact same outfit, but you're in trouble or you're looked frowned upon because you just happen to have bigger boobs or happen to have a bigger booty.
Yeah.
And there's literally beyond your control.
Check your bias, folks. Because this also happens in the workplace, like you said, with the turtleneck. Oh my gosh, it's so inappropriate. I literally couldn't be more covered.
No, literally couldn't be more covered. You want it to be baggy? Like, she's gonna look ridiculous. Who wears a baggy turtleneck?
But part of that too is people putting other people being inappropriate and staring or sexualizing the person. Instead of checking the people that are looking, you're checking the woman for having boobs.
Yeah,
and it's not okay.
But you know what? To that point, though, I still think as a woman, we have to be guarded because there are people out here who don't know how to control themselves. So I do think that in some situations, like even with my girls, like you gotta just be mindful because it could be something like an ankle because apparently feet is a fetish, but you just gotta be mindful of your surroundings with that because in a perfect world we should be able to wear whatever we want and be perfectly safe, but we know we've all been outside to a club, to somebody's house party, and people try it.
Be mindful of it, but it's a balancing act because you don't want to cater to it either. Because you'll be out here for years, wouldn't even have a split for your ass because somebody think you got pretty ass. You can't cater to everybody crazy. Like, people are crazy out here. People think of you.
I'm gonna say something because you were there for this.
In his mind. Like, it's nothing you can do.
That's true. Aaron, I'm gonna say something because you probably remember this in high school. The time somebody told me that I look like I should be in an Uncle Luke video, I was wearing a long sleeve shirt with a neck this high and pants. So no matter what you wear, somebody's gonna look under your clothes and see beyond it with their little X-ray vision.
Yeah,
that's all.
It's good to have those conversations so your girls can be aware of their surroundings. I feel like anybody needs to be aware of their surroundings, but that doesn't mean you have to. You wear whatever you want to wear.
I'm be out there with a potato sack on.
No, because you could even make a potato sack flattering. They did it on America's Next Top Model. I beg your pardon. I'm just saying. Look it up.
Somebody's going to say the potato sack is too short and they can see too much of your legs.
Oh man. Okay. Anything else y'all want to say on that topic before we move on to Sharon Osbourne?
Be you, people. Be you. Be great.
Without judgment.
And I'm gonna keep listening to my Meg and my Lizzo and my Cardi and my Beyonce and my Rihanna, and I could keep going. I'm gonna keep listening.
And it all started, you just named a lot of newer people, but it all started with our childhood, and I'm sure it goes even before that with our Trinas and our Foxy Browns and our, someone had said Missy Elliott. I mean, that's how we're fine. Oh, look, Kim. Oh my gosh, I can't believe yes, exactly. So we grew up with that, listening to that, and we're fine. I mean, I think most of us are okay. It turned out bad.
Those old songs where they were talking about losing their first time.
I was gonna say even
they had some songs back in the day.
True. Very true.
Okay, so Dave put a comment. We were juking back in the day, so they weren't millennials complaining.
That lady looked like she was either an old millennial or a young
right now with a couple dancing like today's TikToks versus back in the day dancing. Perfect example for what Dave's comment was. Like, we were juking when we were kids, so we're not offended by WAP.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so true. Literally, there's some hoes in this house took me back to a basement when I was.
Yes, a juke party.
Sweaty.
That's all I hear when I hear that.
Yes.
I don't have any rhythm, so I don't participate in any of that. I just watched everybody else.
Bye.
Me.
It was wishing.
Girl, bye. But even you said that you threw me off when you said there's some hoes in this house. I was thinking of a different song. Anyway.
I hit at your inner hoe and your brain went.
I just started.
Immediately.
Had a flashback and forgot what you
house.
Okay, so Sharon Osbourne. Piers Morgan made some comments about Meghan Markle after her interview with Oprah, and he just was bashing her, whatever. And one of his co-anchors was like, dude, just stop. You're obsessed with her. Why are you so obsessed with her? She doesn't even talk about you no more. Just leave her alone. And he stormed off. And they brought it up on the talk. And Sharon Osbourne and Cheryl Underwood were talking about it live. And Sharon Osbourne was defending Piers. So what do you guys think? Is her defending him for saying whatever he said about Meghan racist? I think that's the question. And they're considering not bringing her back, I think, on the top. Because when she was talking to Cheryl Underwood, they said that there was some cursing. They were going back and forth. They didn't know if it was disrespectful. They were going to do an investigation. So what do you guys think? Was Piers being racist, and was Sharon defending him?
I think that Sharon Osbourne thing is completely overblown. Oh, but I will say I give her applause for bringing receipts, because Holly Robinson tried to accuse her of getting her kicked off the talk by saying how that she said Sharon Osbourne kept calling her ghetto, and
said that?
that's why Holly Robinson didn't come back after the first season. But Sharon Osbourne put out receipts with emails, and Holly Robinson was like kissing her butt, like friend, like, you know, I know you got my back. It was blaming it on the other, I don't know, the other lady who was on the show at the time, whose husband got caught up in like a sex scandal or whatever. But she blamed it on her. But I feel like you should be able to defend your friend. You should be able to have that person's back. You can't, nobody could ever say, LaShawn could be dead to rights wrong, but you're not going to talk about her in front of me. Like, it's not going to happen. I'm going to be like, you are nuts. But then I'll be like, bet not nobody talk about her. Because that, if you're a friend, you're a friend.
And I was about to say, I could see that happening to us in this group because we all have different opinions and everybody's delivery is different, but we all have each other's back. So I could totally see that happening to one of us. One of us.
Right. And so there is a comment that says that's not what happened. She was the topic. I think he's talking about Piers, the Piers Morgan thing. So Meghan Markle was the topic. Is he not supposed to talk about it? Yeah, I don't know. But I think what we were trying to figure out was, is Sharon Osbourne defending him okay, not okay? To Aaron's point, is it overblown? Like, why would they not bring her back? It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of evidence. Like, they're doing an investigation, but it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of evidence about what she said or that anything was disrespectful from what I could tell, because they cut to a commercial. So
I kind of feel like it's kind of unfair. It's kind of like even with Piers Morgan. I heard a commenter say, "You don't hire a pit bull to bite and then gets mad when he bites somebody. Like, you hired him for this job. You hired him because of the way he delivers his opinion. You hired him because of this. So why are you punishing him for it?" It's like,
but didn't he walk off and quit though? Because didn't he walk off and quit though? Because
he quit. I just know that they put out the statement after the fact and said,
well, one of his co-anchors was like defending Meghan Markle, and then Piers got up and walked away. And then he came back and he said his piece, and then he walked off and quit. But he said he doesn't care. Like, he's gonna say what he wants to say, and if they're gonna fire him, whatever. But to your point, that's why they hired him. So
even Sharon, to fire Sharon for getting into an argument and cursing at somebody. If you watch her MTV show at all, you set that woman up for failure. Anytime she wasn't even mad at people when she was cursing them out on the show. And that's she is, I would describe her as honorary. That would just be my description of her. Because she's very set in her ways and she takes extreme approaches. Like, for example, when she was so outraged about the John Legend and Kelly Clarkson remake of the Christmas song, it's like, I'm just.
But they knew who they hired on both ends.
Yes.
I don't know enough about this situation to comment on it.
But you know what? I feel like it goes back to what I've said previously. I feel like Black people, as being Black people, we're in an affirmative action stage right now. So it's like people have to tread lightly, which is not necessarily fair. Like, people should be held accountable to what they say, but not crucified for it, especially if it's nothing that's worth crucifying them for. And her defending her friend, and she's an emotional person, obviously, because she felt like she was attacked. Mm-hmm. She felt like, you got 3-4 people asking you all these questions that you were not prepared to answer because you're defending your friend. And I feel like we're at a point now, just like the host that got kicked off The Bachelor because he defended the girl who had who they said did some kind of questionable, right?
She had like a plantation party, but it was like years ago.
That was stupid. Well, I
Yeah,
said,
but
well,
it wasn't like recent. It was like, I think he had said,
it was like, it was 2018. It wasn't that long ago.
but I think what he had said was she's young and like she wouldn't have known to clean up her. Well, maybe she should have known to clean up her social media. But again, to Aaron's point, what he was just saying was just saying it. Like, why can't he just say that? That, well, she's young, who cares? They like literally like, what? It's not like he did it. He was just saying something about the girl who actually did it. Like, people are touchy.
And now,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead. I would relate that to, okay, so my alma mater, we had a mascot that was it was the chief, right? So when I went to school, it was this whole thing about getting rid of the chief, and then there was this whole side to say get rid of the chief. There was this whole side to say keep it because of tradition, right? So you have one side saying, oh, we have the chief to honor Native American people, and it's a long tradition, hundreds of years tradition with the school, and that's what we take pride in. So we're uplifting, we're honoring. And on the other end, you have this Caucasian man in an outfit with a feather on, jumping up and doing splits during halftime. And Native American people are saying, you're not honoring us. This is actually very disrespectful. We take pride in our traditions, and you're actually making a mockery of it. And it's like, who comes to the table to listen? Like, if you're honoring people, if you're trying to respect people, a large part of it is listening. So I feel like Piers Morgan, and I get it, he's defending his king and queen and like that tradition and that I get it. He's defending it. So he's so stuck on that he can't even hear, he can't get past to even hear, on top of the fact he don't care about the person that's actually saying it, but can't even hear the conversation about. And he acknowledged, I don't want to say he all the way couldn't hear, but I think he was so stuck on that one part, he couldn't let in the other part, because he did also acknowledge that if the comment about the baby coming out darker being an issue was racist, like he did fully acknowledge that. But they never got to have that discussion, which is what I wanted to see. Like, they couldn't get past certain pieces to get to the nitty gritty of the conversation, which is what I wanted. I was disappointed because I wanted them to get to that.
But it sounds like, from what I've gathered of what the little bit I have heard about the Sharon Osbourne situation, was they felt similar to her, was that she wasn't hearing why people were so upset with him in the first place, and why they felt the way that they did about it being racist or whatever. Like, so that they were, again, too busy arguing. Everybody's always too busy making their point, and nobody's actually ever listening.
It's
so
like,
that's probably,
well, I'm offended, you're offended. Like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, this situation was just silliness, and I think
Like
you
I
have
said,
a whole lot of people.
what happened, so I don't want to take a side.
I mean, you have a whole lot of people who didn't like the Oprah interview. You have a whole lot of people who didn't like her to begin with, who were like, this is stupid. Why are you doing this interview? It's all for cloud, and you got your Netflix deal, and all you're trying to do is promote it, et cetera, et cetera. And then you got people who like me, who actually were listening to what she was saying, or felt like I was. And then I hear, mental issues happening. I immediately think of Diana. Harry comes out and mentions his mom as well. So, I just was thinking of that. Like, she sounded the same way Diana used to talk. Nothing she was saying was new. It was like, this is a suffocating environment. I was not prepared for it, and I want it out. And Harry's like, I took him out.
We have a question. Why didn't she expose the racist? That's why people question her. The point of her expose was to get her story out about people being racist. Then she refused to say who to protect them.
So I wanted to say that point because I was just reading that. To me, that's on the same level of, you have people who tell a story about, sexual abuse and abuse in any manner, and they don't name the person who did it. And it could be for several reasons. Sometimes people don't quite want to face that exactly, or it's a whole backlash to that, because imagine if she said, "Oh, it was Prince Philip." Now you got a whole lot of back and forth, and he said, she said, that makes way more turmoil than if she's just honest enough to say her truth, but with a little bit kept to herself.
And move on. And her
And I think
husband
she
is
did
still,
it.
her
I think
husband's
she
still
did it.
connected.
I think she more did it because I don't think her husband wanted to say who did it. I think she would have said if she I think she would have said it, but I don't think he wanted her to say it, and she was respecting his wishes, because at the end of the day, that's still his family. So
I was going to say
he
he
still
loves his
has to have
family.
some kind of relationship with some of his family members. Maybe he doesn't have a relationship with that family member anymore. We don't know, but he doesn't want to blow up his whole family, by making that one statement.
And you could tell because he was holding back when he was talking about his dad and stuff. Like, that's still his family. And I disagree, Howard, that the point of the interview was to expose it. I don't think that was the point of the interview. I think the point of the interview was the same reason Diana did her interview. It was to say, here's my side. Being a part of this family is exhausting. I literally wanted to kill myself. And this is how it is. Because I think they had said beforehand that the UK tabloids, which we all know are like crazy, hella like nuts, were just talking and talking and talking. And they're like, let's just do some interview and get our side out there. And that's logical. That makes sense. Like, why can't that be it? Why does it have to be, why does there have to be more to it than that?
I also like to add, it's the same thing, like we said, it's not protecting the racists, it's low-key protecting the whole family for when they have to come defend the racists, because that's their family.
Right.
It really is a slippery slope for the whole, like, if you name the person, then you have all of these people trying to say, oh, but he's a good person, and then they get taken down with the person who made the racist comment.
Yeah.
Like Sharon Osbourne.
Exactly.
But on a way bigger,
there are people who love that monarchy, like Piers Morgan. He respects it. That's what he grew up with. He doesn't like when it's being disrespected. That's fine. He said, but she made it about race, and I disagree. So
but can I just also add, like, and I don't want to seem all the way one-sided. It probably is appearing that way, but this is my last little comment. I've been in a room before and somebody made a comment. And if I repeated the comment that they made, you can argue that it wasn't a racial tone to it, but you had to have been there. And like, sometimes it's not what a person says. Sometimes it's the how, it's the presentation, it's the way. I can't explain it. It's not always what. Sometimes it's how. And
right.
context too. Like, they can say something to me that somebody off the street can't say to me. I would take it totally different just because of who they are. So I just feel like those cues, like, you can't really explain that all the way.
Right. Yeah. There was definitely some holding back in that interview.
And old people are racist. All of them. My dad's racist.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's more of a like, they don't
is.
know any better, so they say stuff that was okay when they were younger. And they just, they just keep being how they are.
And I don't feel like that's exclusive to the older generation. I feel like every generation has their biases because of where they came. Like, you're shaped a lot by where you come from, like where your generation, what was okay, what wasn't okay. Like, it shapes a lot of viewpoints that everybody can't get past. So
like,
it's not
calling somebody they is really difficult for me because of the language. Like, I'm automatically say he or she.
Right.
And I don't care if you're trans or not, like I was saying before, but to say they to me doesn't make sense because it's plural. Like, it's literally in my brain doesn't make sense. Like,
yeah,
so it's a hard adjustment.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I'm an old lady now, because
I'm going to read
generational thing.
So the comment says, if you're going to make an accusation, it's your responsibility to articulate that and make your case, not just to throw something out there into the wind and leave it up to the world to interpret when you have the platform to explain it. So I don't know if anybody has been reading up on Demi Lovato. So Demi Lovato did this. She made a documentary.
I'll have to go off screen again. Sorry.
So Demi Lovato did this documentary about her life. And she mentions when she was 15, somebody that she had casually been hooking up with, when she got high or whatever, they took advantage of her and she got raped. She didn't say who it was, but that doesn't make her story less true. That actually takes a hell of a lot of balls to still kind of not, for whatever reason, call this person out, because that doesn't make what she said not true. That's kind of, for whatever reason, not bringing that crap storm to somebody else's door while she's able to cleanse her soul. I feel like with them saying their experience, they're trying to get a clear picture out there as best as they can as to why they felt they had to leave without imploding the monarchy. Because guess what? If they had named a person and, like we were just saying, all people are going to do is pile on. Oh, yeah, that's right. Back in 1919, they grandfather did to have slaves. And back in 2000, they used the N-word. That's all that happens. It just becomes a big pile-on storm. So there's no problem solving with that. This, like I think Shayla said, this protects the monarchy in itself from not having to go defend all that, but it allowed them to get their story out there and say why it was time to move around.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
We have a comment. When you're calling someone a racist, you need to be very clear. Rape has emotional impacts that makes it a completely unrelated analogy.
I think
they didn't call anybody a racist. We called them racist. They said someone made a comment about their unborn child. They never specifically said somebody in the monarchy was a racist.
Right. And they didn't even say it like I feel like there was a lot open to interpretation. They were just trying to get out there what they, like you said, just put it out there. The things that I feel like Megan took as microaggressions, the things that were piling onto her and was making it really hard for her to stay there, and just say them out loud. And like you said, say why they left. I don't think it has anything to do with calling people out. That organization has existed for forever and it's going to continue to exist. And it wasn't about, in my opinion, it just wasn't about that. Like, I think what you're saying is that it's about, they were trying to make it about race and racism. I don't think that's what it was. I think it was just more about why they couldn't stay there. Like I said, there was nothing new. Diana was not Black. There was no race. It was just, this is a suffocating environment. And as an American, she said she was naive. She was ignorant. She didn't know what the hell she was getting herself into. So that some of that was on her. And some people said that they didn't think that she took enough responsibility for it. But I think saying that out loud is taking responsibility for it. I was naive. I thought it was like celebrities. I grew up in LA. It's not the same thing. It's not the same.
And when you're at a certain level, you got to be careful of what you say and how you say it, especially if you can't prove it, because you will get at very least sued, Cardi, or I'm gonna go left on this one. You don't want to get B613, so some people got to be careful what they say and who they say it about.
That's true too, because a lot of what she said it was through her husband, coming to her through her husband. So how can you prove that? I'm sure that they, have existed this long because they're discreet and they know how to be discreet, and they're not just outright saying this stuff or putting it in an email. And come on, man.
And you can know a lot of things, but can you prove it? Like, if somebody called you to the task, can you prove undeniably that this person said and did this?
And, it's not like she was by herself in this interview. Her husband was sitting right there saying she was suicidal. Like, this is not like, oh, she was just stressed out, blah, blah, blah. She was suicidal while pregnant. That's as serious as it gets. And to just say then, from a Piers Morgan perspective, she's full of it. Fuck this chick. That's so disrespectful. And he did try to say mental illness is serious and blah, blah, blah. But it's not like she was sitting there alone. Her husband was sitting there saying, yeah, all this shit was going on. This is the stress she was going through. She was suicidal.
And playing devil's advocate, Piers Morgan might have that mentality towards her because he's met her. He has a certain
bias.
For me, I get feels for people. If people say certain things, I believe some people, I don't believe other people, but it's personally how I feel about you. Right. So he might have a perspective about her. He said what he said because he meant what he meant, because that's how he feels about her. And I get it. But, when you say it on a platform, you will get that. And like he said, he has relationships with people. It had nothing to do with that. I think it's a Megan thing.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree with you. I think nothing she could say he would believe. Because
of how he feels about her. Because of his experience with her.
Right. But that's really deep too. It would take a whole lot for me. I would have to know somebody really, really well for them to sit there across from me with someone else and tell me I was suicidal while I was pregnant. Like I was so done with this earth. And then be like, you bullshit.
I know
you just want the cloud.
I know some people that I wouldn't believe. I'd have to be like, let me see the letter from
their husband.
Oh yeah. Yes, I know some people.
We've been on this earth long enough to pick up certain cues where we would be like, hey, and that I have no horse in this race to say this out loud, but
so it sounds like that's how Piers felt about her. No matter what she says, he doesn't believe her. And maybe, I guess none of us really know. But again, I just, that's a very serious thing to say and to talk about. And I just didn't want it to be. And like I said, it's the same. It was the same shit that Diana said. None of this shit was new. It's a suffocating environment. They are very strict with them. It reminded me of Scientology. They were talking about how they didn't even know William and Kate were going to see the damn interview. Like, they're going to tell them what we said. They're going to know the version they want them to know.
I believe it to a certain extent just because look at the White House. Like, the president, past presidents can't even drive. Like, forever.
Wait,
for the rest of their lives, they cannot drive. Do you know how, that driving, just to be able to get up and go in your car.
Oh, you mean the suffocation of it all.
They can't even drive. Right.
And that's what Harry said. He said, I feel bad for my brother. He can't just leave. He can't just walk out. I was able to. He's the spare.
That's why he stay in there strong, bro. Love you. You hang in there.
He's not even gonna ever see the damn interview probably because they need him focused on that fucking crown. She ain't gonna live forever. His daddy got away with it though. His daddy, freaking Queen Elizabeth, lived forever. He didn't have to deal with shit.
Hey, LaShawn. I've been listening the whole time, but I came back just because she said he's the spare, and that was just the greatest thing. She said he is the spare.
Okay, I heard that though on a documentary, so it wasn't from me. It was actually from a UK tabloid who said she had an heir and a spare. They literally called Harry the spare.
That's so sad.
And it just stuck with me.
And hilarious and sad.
Okay, we're at 58 minutes, you guys. We really don't like going over an hour. Anything to wrap it up?
I don't even know how we got on the subject because we went way off tangent talking about these royals for so long.
Yeah,
Shantae snuck it in again. She stayed sneaking stuff in.
What? It was relevant. It was what the heck?
A condom. Is this going back to cardio now? Use condoms.
I don't know.
Protect yourselves, guys. There's some hoes in this house. Be a hoe if you want. Just be a hoe with a condom and protection.
And protect yourself. Or not. If you're super conservative, do that too. But stop trying to mess up other people's bed.
Oh, he says because we said anything else to wrap it up, and he said condom.
Dummy. Oh,
that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
All right, everyone.
That joke.
Have a good night. Thanks, you guys, for joining. Talk to you later.
Thank you so much for joining our discussion. Be sure to go and check out our other discussions on our website at chitchatchill.com. Also, support a small business and check out our merchandise, also on our website at chitchatchill.com/shop.